Our Day Off podcast is now brought to you by Badlands Off-Road Park. Kyle freaking Chaney, you were on the podcast at Hammers, right?
Yep, for a little bit.
Very short amount of time. It was like 5 minutes.
I was in my race suit. I do remember that.
Yeah, you were a busy man.
You already what was it after qualifying? I don't remember.
I think it was after qualifying. I'm pretty certain we grabbed you as you were on stage and you didn't have a chance.
It definitely wasn't after a race.
No.
Because I never came across the finish line. So unless you got me from the camper.
No. I wouldn't do that to you after a bad day like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's never gonna be a good time on the podcast when you have a bad race.
Yeah, bad days. An S.
Yeah.
I might bring that up at some point.
It feels.
I was there. I seen it.
You see my bad days.
I seen the bad day.
That's kind of the negative part of being at top level performance is, you know, at some point you're going to have a bad day and everybody's watching. You know, it's not like you went out there for qualifying and nobody's watching you. Everybody comes to watch Kyle Chaney go to qualifying.
Well, of course, and KOH has Power Hour
yeah,
everybody wants to come watch that hour.
Yeah, of course, everybody wants to be in that hour.
Yeah,
obviously. Well, so a fun, not to kick this off in a different way than I normally do, but I was actually driving here and I was like, it's interesting to think of how long we've known each other. For one, I started racing GNCCs. I was a dirt biker in GNCCs for years, which I don't think we ever crossed paths at that point. We didn't cross paths until side-by-sides, and we started racing GNCCs. And I was, obviously never Kyle Chaney, but I wanted to be. I wanted to try and race with you for all those years. And then I got the chance to race in an IXCR as your co-dog, and you killed me with the tree that came through the dash. So that was fun. That's been brought up a few times. But so I put in here a list of Kyle's achievements, and I wanted to bring those up because it's impressive. I mean, you always come off as just this normal guy who likes to farm, and you just, like.
What do you mean likes to farm? That's the weirdest thing about Kyle Chaney. He's the winningest side-by-side race car driver, but that's not even a fraction of what he does. Like, the dude farms. His life is farming.
Well, I might be hunting at this point.
Hey, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's top secret, dude.
No, it's top secret hunting.
Well, we're not going to talk top secret. I'm just going to run through this list because for everyone who may watch this and doesn't know who you are, and if that's the case, you're watching the wrong podcast. But Kyle Chaney, 4-time King of the Hammers UTV champion, 2021 through 2024. First ever UTV to win the King of Hammers 4400 class, and you finished 30 minutes ahead of the second competitor. 2-time GNCC side-by-side champ, 3-time short course champion, Silver State 300 winner in 2026, Ormhoff Impact Award nominee, or honoree, it says. And then it says serious bow hunter with big Ohio bucks, including a 205-inch metric, which is a name you gave it, right? 198-inch 6x6 and 178-inch Mega 8 pointer.
Did you like AI all this on?
Yeah, this is all just. Well, I mean,
no,
am I not supposed to use AI? He tells me to use it. Tool, bro. He tells me to use AI, and then he talks shit about it.
It's a tool, bro. I don't know.
So yes, I AI'd all this, and it was interesting to me that your racing came up first because all I ever hear you talk about is deer hunting.
Well, I try to keep my deer hunting more like personal level almost.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few times I made a couple of videos just because, I don't know, I felt like I wanted to share some of my hunting experiences with, some people that ask me, like kids and stuff. They, always ask about hunting, and I don't know, I thought, I had a couple good deer that I had years of history with, and I thought it'd be cool to just kind of like share that. So yeah, that's kind of why I did that. But, the hunting is always something that I try to keep more to myself and more personal than my racing is definitely way more public, which is great. I'm glad that comes up before my hunting for sure.
Yeah, I was obviously just busting your balls. Like, I knew your racing was going to come up first because you're obviously one of the highest decorated racers in off-road history, with all those wins that we just listed through. We don't need to go through them again. If you want to look them up, go for it. But you could, I could probably go into all sorts of different stories of over the years of me racing alongside you. And one of the highlights of my racing career, I'll just be honest, is standing on that podium making a Hammers in third place.
I remember that.
That's the highlight of my career. Obviously, you've got way more exciting ones to talk about than I ever will.
I think Phil was up there with us too.
Yeah.
When was it? 2023? 22?
24, I think.
Phil McGilton?
No, Blurton. Phil Blurton. Yep, it was you, Phil, and then me.
Yeah.
Again, I've been racing King of the Hammers for 8 years, officially racing, and then last year was my 9th year being there. I wasn't racing, and doing podcasts. So podcast has kind of taken place for me. The itch of going to the racetrack, as far as like being there with my friends. Obviously, the itch of actually racing a race car will never go away. It's something I will always chase. But
It's got to be less stressful though.
it is less stressful. I would say it's definitely more
for
fun.
him. Yeah, for him.
Yeah.
Stressful for some people. No, it has its own special set of stresses for sure. But it's interesting being on the opposite side of the racing community now. From a racer, coming from where we come from, we have one goal when we go to the racetrack. We have one goal, and that's to win or be broke trying. There's no in between. And to now go to the racetrack and just be able to see the back workings and see how the race is put on and the amount of effort that goes into the race, and then talking to the racers after a bad day, I can relate so well to how you're feeling or the situation of the race at the time, that it gives everybody a little bit of a different perspective. I feel like, so it's a little bit different than like some random person who's never raced a race car before trying to talk about it. Like some of the announcers, I'm not saying bad by anybody, but
Yeah.
sometimes you listen to somebody talking, you're like, oh, they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's fun for me. It's kind of filling that little void. But enough about me, dude. I have been coming up through the racing world, basically right alongside you, chasing you down the whole time. And tell us about where you started, dude. Like, you started dirt biking. How'd you get to side-by-sides?
We'd like to take a quick break from the podcast to tell you guys about CT Raceworks. And I love CT Raceworks. I use it on all my race cars, including the drift truck. And the drift truck hit the wall twice today because of Chase. And it's still not broke. And we have more time to go out and ride and have fun. And you can too. Go on to ctraceworks.com. And upon checkout, put in the Our Day Off discount code, which will get you 5% off. And you might say to me, that's not enough, Matt. And I'll say, you're going to buy them anyway. Okay? Use the code, get a discount, and have some fun with your new CT Raceworks parts. And don't break your buggy. Back to the show.
Yeah. So started racing dirt bikes as a kid, and probably I think it was after like my 5th knee surgery. I don't even remember what year that was. What was it? 2010. I had a knee surgery, and I was racing the GNCCs, and at that point, I forget how old I was. 2010. How old was I in 2010? Too old, at least to to pursue making any money dirt biking for sure. Like, I was past that age.
Right.
I was in my early 20s, but still, to become a professional dirt bike racer, you got to turn pro at 16, or before that.
It's a young man's sport.
Was that something you were after? Like, that was your goal?
Well, yeah, it was what I wanted. Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah, for sure. Like, I wanted to be a professional dirt bike racer, but there's not very many of those, and there's even less of those that make money. That make enough money to live. That's definitely a tough sport, to make a living in, I would say.
Oh yeah,
sure. Which
especially on your body.
Yeah, right? As a kid, I didn't know that. That's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I was off on an injury, and my grandma, she I saw these side-by-sides. I thought they would be so fun, but I didn't have any money. So my grandma gave me a loan to buy a CanAm Commander because she thought it would get me off of dirt bikes, which she was right. It did.
It did work.
Yeah, it did work. She was just tired of me hurting myself because she kept telling me, oh, when you get older, you're going to feel this. And she was right about that too.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
I feel it every freaking day. Yeah, grandma was right about everything. Every single thing.
Isn't that interesting how our elders, we should probably listen to them a little bit?
Probably should.
No, we never do.
No, she was right about everything. But anyway, yeah, so she gave me the money, and I went and bought a CanAm Commander. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It had Fox shocks on it. I went to North Carolina to get it. It was the only place I could find one. And I forget what it was, Ironman GNCC or whatever. There was a GNCC literally the next day. No, it was the first GNCC of the year. It was like North Carolina or South Carolina, one of those GNCCs for the side-by-side. It was like the first side-by-side race of the year. So I went from North Carolina Power Sports, which is now Performance East. I went to Durham Town and drove it, and I broke the clutch on it. So then I called the dealership, and they actually told them I was going to race the GNCCs, and they were familiar with the racing. And they actually took a clutch off one of the units they had just so I could race. And, I wasn't anybody. They just, did it for me, took it off so I could race. And we didn't do good, but we were out there and, we were probably winning until we weren't.
Typical.
Yeah, we were winning until we weren't, but, we were staying up with CanAm, had a couple factory guys, and we were driving right along with them, and I hit a tree, broke tie rod. So anyway, we got tire rods. I got wheels and tires for the next race. And the next race we went out and we were on the podium overall, 3rd overall. And then the next race we won. And then after that race we won, the race director at the time for CanAm was there and came to me and got my phone number and said they wanted to talk. And then that next week they called me and asked if I wanted to race for their factory team. And that was pretty much where it started.
What a wild story.
Is that a big deal? Like when a big brand comes to you and says, "Hey, we want you to race for us." Like, what does that feel like?
I mean, being in I did not expect it to happen. Like, it was just like the side-by-side thing for me at that point was just like something like me and my buddy Denny was like the first guy to ever ride with me. And, he'd go to the races with me and stuff. And it was just like something like, like he could like drink beer and ride. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't taken serious at first, but then we figured out we were competitive. Like after that first race, we knew we were competitive. Like, oh, we're competitive in this, and we had no idea because we were going up against, at that point, the biggest team was, besides the CanAm team, was Scott Kiger and William Yoakley. They were, the Polaris factory team at the time, U.S. National Guard. Like, I think Kiger had like 10 side-by-sides. He was, they were racing at the time. Like, he had 10 guys, and then the Jack's excavating guys. Like, there was big, good teams in it, from the start. And, I never figured we'd had a chance. We still had a freaking dump bed, that we ratchet strapped down. And, so I never thought it would go anywhere. Until that day they called, and I'm like, well, maybe this is something. So, but no, I really, even at that point, I thought it was cool, but I didn't know how far it would go.
Well, it was so new at the time too. Side-by-side racing, like you said, there was bigger teams involved, but it was so new.
Yeah.
Like GNCCs just started messing with side-by-sides. And then all of a sudden it just escalated. Like, I feel like from the time where you got your Can-Am ride, it was just pure escalation from there, just a ramp to now.
Yeah, straight up.
Crazy. And my story is similar. It was similar. A dirt bike guy my whole life, raced GNCCs and national enduros, did really well, had some injuries, decided with age get a cage, and I bought a XP 1000 at the time. Just my buddy was like, "Hey, there's this thing on Marketplace, you should buy one." Bought one, went and raced Ironman just for fun, threw window nets in it like the night before, went and raced Ironman and won XT2. And I was like, that was way too fun. Like that was awesome, and this was, a long time after you had started. I think probably like a year or two maybe, but I don't even remember what year it was. And I was like, that was awesome. I'm gonna go to the next one, and just look where it landed us,
Yeah.
It's wild.
Hooked you right in.
Yeah. Hooked me right in. And that I've been destroying my bank account ever since, So it's a very similar story, but I don't know. I don't know if you could do it again and you could plan it, if you could plan it better. You know what I mean? Like, what a wild thing to have happen.
Yeah, and at that time, I had just got in with a concrete sawing and drilling company. I was doing concrete at the time, with just concrete pouring. And, my brother worked for me, and I had a couple other guys, just paid cash or whatever. And, I did residential stuff. And then I did, like some pourbacks for this company. This guy owned a concrete sawing company. And so I just started working with him. We went in together, and, we had some pretty good contracts and stuff and making really good money. And, that time that CanAm called and, offered me that ride, I started, racing more and, kind of putting more effort into racing than I was like the concrete. And it was kind of like I had to choose. Like, couldn't do both. And it's not like I was making a lot of money racing, it's like, the concrete company was, $1 million company. So, and I chose racing, and I wasn't making anything. Like at that time I lived, well, I know for a while I lived in my race camper in my parents' driveway, and then, me and my buddy rented a house and just kind of, went up from there. But yeah, so I pretty much threw away a concrete career, which I'm glad I did because concrete sucks.
Concrete is a rough business to be in.
But you make a lot of money doing concrete.
Well, dude, any concrete guys I've ever seen, they got nice side by side, nice trucks, nice house. Like they're making money.
There's a lot of money in concrete for sure. But like you said, I don't think the way it happened and the way everything went, no, I wouldn't change it for sure.
Yeah. What a wild ride. I wouldn't even have guessed for me where it would take me. I've been, I don't want to call myself a professional racer because I never really made any money doing it. It was just more of a hobby that I took professionally. I was doing it for myself. But then teams like Race Driven and people have come into my life, from seeing the effort that I was putting in and wanted to help out. And that was great. And it's led me to here. So I would never change it for a million years. And for you to, so what's the next step actually, before I go on anything about me, because this is not my podcast, but what's the next step for Kyle Chaney? Because you said now that you're not racing short course, short course is taking a back seat. So what's the plan?
Yeah, at least in a side-by-side, we did build a new truck and, we're going to race some in it just because I do enjoy short course. I enjoy the tracks. I enjoy the people there. I just like going, it's a fun atmosphere. So I don't want to, get out of it 100%, but, yeah, at least for now, no side-by-side in short course. As much as I talk crap about the Dakar thing, I do like racing overseas. I think it's just more or less because, it's something I haven't done yet, besides the races I did. And it's, just different. I feel like, at least in the US, I've raced almost everything. I know I haven't done any score or anything like that, but I feel like the overseas stuff is definitely like up my alley. It's they're long races, multiple day races where you gotta still haul ass and keep a car together. A lot of first thing I thought when they asked me to go race Dakar was like, oh, we're just gonna go ride camels around and you should go slow and try to keep the car together. No, those dudes over there are on it. Like you cannot drive slow.
Is it a different terrain that was appealing to you, or was it like?
But yeah, you get different terrain every single day. We race the whole country of Saudi Arabia.
That's great.
To circle around the whole country. So you start. We started like more towards the north where it was a little warmer, and by the time we got to the south, you were in jackets and you were freezing cold. So it's like,
really,
yeah. I mean, you race the whole country, and I do kind of like that kind of racing. The multiple day stuff where if you do have a bad day, you can kind of make up for it the next day or the next couple days. The thing that sucks about like KOH or some of these races in the US is if you have a bad day, you're done. Like you wait a month until another race. Like you don't have like, those overseas races. Each day is a race, but they're calculated, for an overall after 5, 6, like it depends what race you're racing, but Dakar was 13 days and it was every day was calculated into the, the final overall, but there were still race winners every day, so you could win the day and then, have a bad day the next day and then make up for it, within the following days.
Yeah. And so were you camping?
Sort of, I guess.
Because I watched a little bit of it. I watched when you and Hunter were racing one day, and I was kind of it was kind of on in the background, and I saw you guys in some sort of like a makeshift camp. So you're kind of in the elements for some of it.
So there was 2 days where we didn't make it back to, like they call it a bivouac, which is like where the pits are set up. So every day the pits are tore down and they move. Since we're racing around the whole country, it's not like we just come back to the same pit. So Every day they would tear down, and they'd be tore down before we even got up in the morning, like to go to the cars. Like we'd wake up, 5, 6 in the morning to get ready to start the day, to start the race, and mechanics and the whole, like all the semis, everything was already gone because they had to get to the next bivouac. So by the time we got done racing that day, they would be there set up. We could give them the cars and they would start working on them, and they'd do the same thing the next day. Well, there was 2 days where, like they have it set up to where you don't make it back to the bivouac. Like you have to, make sure you have enough parts and everything to do 2 full stages without, going back to like for a mechanic's help or anything. So then they furnish you a tent. So when you get there, it's an enclosed area. They just kind of have it marked off because you're only, all the cars have to be parked in a row. So like you can't have like outside assistance or whatever. Like you have, a team, and they can help you or whatever, work on your cars and, change parts or whatever. But, everybody's in this confined area. So like you can't have outside help bring you, if you need a part and it's not within your race team or whatever, someone to help you, then that you can't have any outside assistance, and you're in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like there's anybody out there to help you anyway. But yeah, so then they just give you a tent, and they give you like this little sleeping bag thing, and yeah, you sleep in the middle of the desert.
Unreal.
Scorpion? Did you see a scorpion?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you eat one?
Oh no.
No.
No, but that definitely was scorpion.
One?
I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah, it was funny. The first one I saw, I think it was Sarah Price was yelling, and I wasn't far from her, and it was a scorpion.
Dude,
She was yelling at.
I'd probably yell too.
So, and you're out there with all the other classes too, right? All
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So there's like semis and all sorts of other stuff.
When in the bivouacs, yes. Yeah, in the bivouacs, so you got the dirt bikes and all the trucks and buggies and everything. And then when they did the nights where we stayed in the middle of the desert, it was like too big to have us all in one spot. So they split the dirt bikes up from the 4-wheel. So the dirt bikes had their own like ribboned off area, and we had our own ribboned off area. It was just too much to have all the dirt bikes and the 4-wheels in one little closed pit area.
Gotcha. And are the cars built different for that specific race? I know they've got like the spare tires and weird spots and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so we carry 2 spares. And yeah, they're way different. I mean, just being like compliant to the FIA rules. And I don't even know what those rules are, but I know like South Racing pretty much has to build a complete chassis to pass the rules. So like none of our chassis over here would be FIA legal. People could build them FIA legal, but you have to build a chassis and you have to have it homologized. So like you have to send it to them and they have to approve it. Same thing with anything. Like we wanted to add a steering quickener, but they didn't homologize it.
What does that mean? Just approve it, basically.
Approve it, yeah. And you're only allowed from the original homologation. Like when you give them the race car, you say this is what we want to race, and they approve, or they don't approve. After that original race car, you're only allowed, I think, 2 or 3 parts. I don't know if it's a year or after that homologation is done with that race car. You're allowed a few joker parts, like something that can be homologized, like, within a year or so, but you can't just go, say, you have this car and you want to do a different sway bar and you want to do, a different trailing arm and you want to do something. You can't just do that. Like everything is the way you homologize it is the way it has to be. And you're only allowed a few, like I said, joker pieces. Like if you wanted to add a steering stabilizer or if you wanted to add a steering stabilizer or steering quickener, you have to send that to them. They have to approve it, and then you have to use that as your joker part, and you only get a few of those.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a strategic play at that point.
Yeah.
Were you able to get a steering quickener?
No.
Are you going to do that if you do it again?
No, I mean, I just learned to drive without it. You know, I mean, it didn't take long. We use them over here. So it would have just been easier for me to, I felt like it'd be easier for me to, get familiar with the car with it, but I was fine without it.
Gotcha. Yeah, those cars just look so heavy.
Oh, they are very.
Are they?
Oh yeah. They're over 3,000 pounds.
Wow. I mean, you are carrying a whole lot of parts and tires and good Lord.
I mean, we have air tanks on board. I mean, you have to be, and you got front axle, rear axle. We got radius rod, tire rod. I mean, you have to be able to fix the thing because, if you don't, you're out. You know,
Right.
I mean, and you got 13 days to race, and if you don't make a stage within a certain amount of time, you're done.
Gotcha. And how'd you finish there?
We got second.
Okay. I mean, pretty dang good for your first time.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, that's impressive. Seeing it on TV is like anything else. It's nothing like what it is being there in person. It doesn't look like it's that fast on TV in comparison to what we're used to here. But obviously, from what you're saying, it is.
Yeah. So the cars are speed limited.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe the top speed isn't what we're running here for sure.
But you're just to the wood the whole time, basically.
I mean, not really, like, because you are speed limited, but if you go over, so our speed, I think it was 125 kilometers an hour, and like the trucks, they're allowed to go 175, and like there's a couple other classes in there that are allowed 135. So you're not wide open all the time, but the times you are wide open, if you go 1 mile an hour or 1 kilometer an hour over 125 for more than 1 second, you get penalized.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and like your third penalty is like a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, like the third time you do it, like this thing starts at like 15 seconds is your first penalty, and then it goes up to a minute. And if you're over that one, like if you're only 1 kilometer over that, and let's say you're 126 kilometers an hour for a minute, that's like a couple hour penalty.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so you're all the time like you want to be 125, 124, 125, because you like, yeah, you think you're racing, for 13 days and you're racing for, I don't forget what was the total time, 150 hours or something like that, but seconds do count, so you're trying to push that envelope right there the whole time. And the other issue is too, like you have a tighter section where you just made passes on these bigger cars that can run 130, 140, 150. They're allowed to go that fast and we're not. So you just made all these passes on these cars because it's dusty. It didn't rain over there the whole time, so it's crazy dusty. So you make these passes and then these slower cars that can go faster than you in a straightaway pass you, and then you have to pass them back when you get into a tighter section. Then you're in their dust again. So there's a lot of strategic play that goes on the whole time you're racing too.
Wow. I had no idea. It's interesting to hear you talk it through because I've had no idea that there was that many variables.
Yeah, and then there's times too, like you have to be real strategic because if you make like let's say you're in a tight section and you're following a car that goes 150 kilometers an hour, and you see on your map that you're probably about to open up into something that's probably going to be fast. Well, it's probably not worth taking a risk to pass that car in this tight section when they're just going to pass you back, like in a couple kilometers. So you're almost better off to take a couple second loss there than to risk braking, passing them, and then, or getting a flat or anything like that, and then they're just going to pass you anyway right back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of strategy that goes into Dakar, same as any other race, but maybe more.
Yeah, I would agree way more.
Yeah.
Way more. I mean, we're so conditioned to just go as fast as possible, There's a lot of times when you do have some strategy, especially with hammers, right?
Oh yeah.
Hammers is a big strategy race. And me and Scott were just talking when Ava was on. Hammers has gone from a survival race to just a full-on sprint. Like you have a really good day that went perfect and you pushed all the way on that line. You were just dancing on the line of chaos and making it to the finish, or you're broken. You know, that's what Hammers has come to in the side-by-side race.
And there's still strategy involved in that
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Even though it's as fast as what you're saying, it's still strategy because it's all depending on, at least, I mean, I can't tell my whole strategies, but to me, it's who is out front, who is going fast. And do I have to go that fast right now or do I not? Depending on who it is in front of me.
Yeah.
So you got to know your competition,
right?
Know their strengths, their weaknesses, and then that can determine on what you need to do.
Right. Yeah.
Do you like study your competitors?
No, I just know I know all of them.
No, because
It's pretty, yeah. I think it's pretty obvious. Like most of the guys especially in the States, it's not like we, hide much of our strategic plays or like our weaknesses. Like it's just obvious. You know who's going to break and what. And
Yeah, at Dakar, I have no idea. Them dudes, like I don't know any of them. Like I had to do my own thing. But at KOH, I know everybody I'm racing against.
right.
everybody who's gonna give you a challenge at least.
Right. Yeah. You know how they are, how their car is, how their prep is, how they drive, how their desert skills are, how their rock skills are, how their pits are. Like you know everybody, how everybody does everything, who their navigators are. Is their navigator good? Can they winch? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Have you ever considered running single seat at Hammers? Just to save weight?
To tell you the truth, after CT built the first chassis car, I was concerned of weight. But to tell you the truth, well, at least with the Mav R anyway, I know on the X3, I thought about it a little bit, but with the Mav R as being as tough as a platform as it really is, the extra weight was good.
Really?
But yeah, like it actually worked really good in the rocks. Like felt like it made the car better. I had way more grip. And the car was still, pretty nimble. I mean, it's not like it was 1,000 more pounds,
No, yeah. A couple hundred pounds.
Yeah, but it made the cars better.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I've never raced a Mav R other than, for little fun races here and there that, mostly in Scott's vehicles, but I'm still an avid X3 guy. I just love them so much. I like the lightness of them. That's what I enjoy about the X3 is how small and nimble they feel. And obviously they've been proven platform for so long. I felt like for me, not having to worry about another person and be able to save all that weight in an X3 was the move. And with an X3, I'll never go back after doing it.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure, especially with an X3. They were a lighter built car. But yeah, I mean, but with the Mav R, it definitely worked really good with two people. I didn't really like it with one person in it.
Interesting. I'll have to get more time in a Mav R to know what that feels like. Do you like the Mav R way better than the X3?
Yeah, I do. I like my chassis cars better. Now, like in stock form, they were okay, but man, it sucks that we didn't get to prove what my cars last year could have done because they were freaking good. They were really good. Yeah.
What happened last year?
We just had steering bolt geometry problems, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there was like 10 of us that broke the same thing. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish
that's remedied now, right?
It's supposed to be fixed.
Was it not the tumbling backwards off of Balpine or the entrance of Balpine? Yeah, it kind of was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, that did suck, but it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, the steering was gonna break anyway.
Yeah, the way it landed on that one side and just banged right on that front corner.
Yeah, I mean, the steering was gonna break whether we rolled right there or not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that section ahead was ridiculous.
Yeah,
we were standing right there in the bottom, watching you guys hit that for the first time. We got to see you come down the wash and then turn up and head up Alpine. We got to watch that whole thing firsthand, and I was just like, dude, what a mess.
Yeah, and that sucked. I really was enjoying that race. Like it was the really technical stuff like that. I really liked. That car was good at it too. So
yeah.
Do you think should your winch have held and you made it up that rock face into Balpine, do you think that you would have finished?
No, I think the steering would have broke.
Without the steering rack issue.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, really.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, know some of the trails that were coming, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's yeah, we'd have won for sure.
Yeah.
That's a weird one you to say.
Yeah, no, we would have won. Yeah.
Have you been doing a lot of testing and stuff with the cars since then?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we got some new and improved stuff for this coming year, and yeah, we're coming to win.
As always.
Yeah, even more this year.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I like to hear that. Do you think that what they're doing with that 4,400 race is the right move?
What do you mean what they're doing? Like making it difficult?
Making it difficult again.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And you know, you hate to like listen to keyboard warriors, but you know, and last year, like, oh, you know, none of the side by sides finished because you made the track hard. Well, the hardest race before last year was the year before that I won. You know, so it's like it is what it is, but the harder the better.
Right.
For
I
sure.
agree.
Yeah, the harder the better.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I really, really enjoy the hard technical stuff. I always tell all my friends when we go out on a good trail ride or a time where we want to put things to the test, I want to be able to use the winch. Like I want to winch. I want to put every tool in my toolbox to use. Even though I'm running single seat and I'll probably forever drive single seat if I ever race again. I don't care. I'll get out. I love winching. I love the technical stuff. I love rock crawling. You know, I like that where the car's laying on its side and it's dragging through a ravine. That's great. You know, more the better, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Dave either needs to make the race longer or shorten it up a little. You know, that way, you know, at least, you know, no one would have finished last year if they wouldn't have cut the end of the desert off.
Right.
So, in my opinion, no one finished because no one finished the whole race last year. Yeah, I mean, there was 2 people that did finish, but they didn't do the whole track.
Right.
So,
Interesting. Yeah.
What's your sentiment on the controversy of they don't want golf carts winning their 4,400 race?
I don't care.
It's too late.
I mean, he already did.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't bother me none.
It's just, it adds fuel to the fire, to be honest. I mean, the more people that want to talk crap about side by side being a golfer, they're not. They're completely fully built race cars.
Especially now. I mean, these things are $200,000. Right now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not golf carts.
I mean, UFO built Phil Magilton a complete one-off one-seater Mavar.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that car is
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I would be angry to drive it through the rocks.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And I mean, I say that about your cars too. Every time you show up, I mean, they're like a work of art. And then here we are going to go drag them through the rocks and destroy them, you know, but I mean, that's just what we do. That's the name of the game. And if you think for 1 second that these cars are just like side by sides that we bought off the showroom floor and we're going to race 4,400, you're dead wrong.
Yeah. No, nothing like that. And, you know, I'm glad that we do get to race it with the side by side, you know, even though they're not showroom side by sides, because for one, the UTV race isn't hard enough, you know, and it's great that we're allowed to do another race that's the most difficult race in the world, you know. So for me, being able to do it is great because I don't have a 4,400 and I want to compete against the guys that do. And, you know, our cars are competitive, you know, for sure. I mean, they've been able to beat us in the desert in the past. You know, this year, I think, you know, we should be able to compete with them. I know I said that last year and we were a little better last year in the desert than we were the year before. And I think this year we're going to be even better because the rocks, I feel like we have covered no matter how hard he makes it. But the desert is where I feel like, you know, we lack.
Yeah,
side by side.
just the top speed.
Yeah, top speed.
Yeah, and just lacking top speed.
You know, suspension, big, you know, you're going to have a hard time beating a bigger vehicle that's faster, more suspension, bigger tires, longer, you know, in the desert whoops.
Right. Yeah. I think Scott even touched on it when we were chatting earlier about making the side by side race harder. Do you think they should just add a lap?
No, I don't think they should. You know, the side by side race is for guys that want to buy a vehicle off the showroom floor, go buy a CanAm XRC or whatever it is and put a little bit aftermarket money in and go race. And I don't think they should have to go out there and do what we do in 4,400. You know, I think that would cost them too much money, you know, and it'd ruin their vehicles. But the side-by-side race is hard enough to make it a challenging race, you know, because still I broke last year in it. You know, a lot of people still don't finish that race. So it's still difficult in its own right. And, you know, I don't think they should make it super difficult like the 4400 race. No.
Even for like the, let's just say the pro drivers, like let's say there's the group of guys in pro mod, you know, that are finishing the race in a half hour. They shouldn't have to do another lap or make another lap that's harder, or even just add another desert loop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it for sure. I think that would be great, but I mean, I know they have their timeline, and that would be just more staff that he'd have to have and everything else. So, I mean, you know, as much as, you know, me and Dave have our differences, I mean, he still has a full series to run and a lot of stuff going on, and the UTVs aren't necessarily like, you know, everything he thinks about. So I mean, the UTV race is still great, you know, and you know, after the UTV race, you know, he's got the EMC race that he's got to do all that stuff, and they got stuff going on at night. And I think the 4400 race, you know, once it's over, it's done. You know, he don't have nothing to worry about the next day besides cleaning stuff up and getting people out of there and everything else. So I don't know. I the side-by-side race is difficult in its own right. And, you know, I think if you want to do the most challenging thing, then build one for 4400.
I agree with you. And just to be clear, in case everybody's listening or watching, I am not for any of these things. I'm just asking the questions. In my opinion, I think the side-by-side race is great. I agree with you completely. I think if you think the side-by-side race is either getting too easy, or you're a better driver than that, or if you're just winning all the time, then like you said, I think they should go race 4400.
Yeah.
I think that's the next step. If you think that that's too easy and you want to move to the next level, 4400 it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to build a 4400 car, then build a side-by-side.
Yeah.
Make it legal and run it.
Yep.
I mean, have you ever thought about racing a 4400 car? Like an actual 4400 car?
No, because I get paid to race what I get to race in it. I mean, if somebody paid me more money to race the actual 4400, yeah.
Well, then why do you race Pro 4?
Well, I don't know.
Like wasting money?
Pretty much. Well, the problem was I got into it early and it was supposed to be paid for. Like the first year I got into it wasn't my idea. You know, there was a company that came asked me to race for them and put me in they were buying CJ's old truck. So I went out and tested it. Johnny and, you know, CJ or whatever, I tested his old truck, and it hooked me. And then by that next year, some stuff happened in the company and it wasn't able to happen, but I had already got the itch, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't just not.
I have never gotten the chance to strap into a Pro 4 truck. But I will say, from being racing short course and standing on the side of the track right against the fence in turn 1 at Crandon and watching those trucks go by, there's nothing quite like it.
They're nothing cooler. I mean, it is freaking awesome.
I can only imagine what it would. I mean, I've been strapped into a side-by-side and hit turn 1 at full tilt. I can only imagine what it's like being strapped into 900 horsepower 4-wheel drive into turn 1.
Yeah, right next to a bunch of other crazy people that are in 900 horsepower trucks.
All trying to fit 30 wide. Well, not 30, but, you know, a bunch of trucks wide into a not that wide corner at 100 mile an hour.
Yeah, they just doused with water.
Ugh, every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I can only imagine what that's like, and I would love to experience it.
Yeah, it's that's why I still do it. Yeah, it definitely costs me a lot of money, and it's probably where lots of my money goes. And I probably have more tractors if I didn't have Pro 4.
Tractors, this guy. So talk to us about that. I mean, we can talk about racing like we were talking earlier. We talk all day. What's with the farming thing? Is it new, or has that always been something for you?
No, I mean, we've always had a family farm, but it was always leased out. And then I got cows like 4 or 5 years ago, and then we had to start feeding them hay. So I was buying hay, and I'm like, well, we have this land here that's leased out, and like, I'll just plant it into hay, and started getting a little bit of hay and went to some auctions and bought some crappy junk farm equipment that was always broke down, and we were stressed out and lost all kinds of hay, and like, why do people do hay? This is ridiculous. There's no money in this. And here I am now. I do 550 acres of hay, and stresses me out like crazy, but there's just something about driving a tractor around that's just peaceful, even when it's broken.
Even when it's broken.
Even when you're outside and it's 110 degrees and you're underneath of it and you're sweating and you're in the middle of the field and you're trying to get the thing fixed because rain's coming, and if you don't get it fixed, all the hay is going to be worthless. And yeah, it's
Something about adversity.
yeah. And then you have your dad calling you because his tractor's broken too, and or he just hit something and the baler's broke, and yeah, I mean it's just
Part of the game.
part of farming.
I love it. I love it. You just can't relax, can you?
No, there's no relaxing. There's definitely no relaxing in doing hay. That is for sure, because
That probably keeps you way more busy
it is
all the time, yeah?
incredibly busy.
Yeah.
During the summer months.
And you get to chill out come like fall.
No, I have other activities in the fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about those.
They're not
activities.
talking about those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
But seriously though, can we talk about it a little bit? I mean,
What do you want to know?
well, I don't know. I've never been a big hunter. I enjoy watching and I enjoy the sport of hunting. I've often kicked around the idea of getting into it, but I feel like I just know what that'll lead to, because I'm the type of guy that no matter what it is, I have to do it all the way, you know? And I don't need, I say the same thing about golf. All my friends are like, dude, you got to get into golf. You're actually good at it. I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. As soon as I get into it, or if I buy a new bag and a bunch of new clubs, now I'm committed and I'm going to beat all of you. And there's no chance. I'm going to golf every day and I'm going to destroy my life because of it. So I just know that would be hunting.
Did you always hunt? Like, did you go hunting with your dad?
No.
You didn't grow up hunting?
None of my family hunted. No.
I never hunted either.
No.
So why hunting?
I don't know. I just started one of my buddies that before I could drive, he liked to hunt. So I pretty much, if I wanted to get out of my house and, do something at that time of the year, like he was going hunting. So, and he had an extra bow and he just kind of gave it to me and sat me in the corner of a field and had a couple does walk by and, I'd shoot them. But like I saw them and I don't know, just kind of was hooked from there. And it was kind of from there, kind of shot my first buck and, started hanging out with other people that, like to hunt and kind of learned more about it. And I don't know, just kind of like an addiction thing. Like you said, like I enjoyed it. And then I got a compound bow and I liked shooting it. And I like the challenge of, shooting deer with a bow. It's different than like a crossbow because you have to draw, you have movement, with a crossbow, you just sit there and point it and you shoot kind of like a gun. But, with a compound bow, you at least have to be fairly close. You have to monitor your movement because, deer have great sight and smell. So you have to, outsmart their smell. And then I kind of, after like a couple of years, like I was able to kill like a buck every year. And, I just wanted to be bigger and bigger. And then I wanted, a bigger challenge. And like the older the deer, the more challenging they are to kill. So that I kind of like didn't even like killing animals anymore, but I liked the challenge of figuring out old mature deer. And what comes with old mature deer are bigger racks. So it's not necessarily like the rack size. Yeah, the rack size is great, but I like the challenge of the hunt. And then now the older I get now it's, you can have one great property, but it's not going to produce a old mature animal every year. So now like the challenge is finding these deer and then trying to get permission to hunt them. Because permission is the hardest thing to get right now. There are a lot of hunters, but the ground is getting smaller. It's not like, you have these big farms like you used to, and, you just walk up to the farmer and they let you hunt, because any big farm like that now is leased. Guys are paying big money for farmland to lease to hunt. So you're fighting against these guys that lease these farms, and they're making all kinds of money because they're dragging in people from out of state that are paying them thousands of bucks to come, hunt deer. And, they have all these farms leased up. So it's definitely hard to get permission on bigger pieces of land right now. So, and it's just going to continue to get harder. And then you have liberals and stuff that don't want you hunting. And so access is actually probably one of the harder things to do. Like killing the animal is probably easier than
Getting on the property.
Yeah, getting on the property.
Gotcha. Have you hunted out of Ohio?
Yeah. I've got a couple properties now that well, I've got a buddy that hunts in Indiana, and we kind of switch some stuff up. He comes over here, and I let him hunt some of my Ohio stuff, and I go over there, and he lets me hunt some Indiana stuff, and then we got some property in Illinois that we hunt. So yeah, it's just, and maybe going down to Kentucky to do some hunting too. So we had I've got some spray drones, and they went down there and sprayed in Kentucky, and there's definitely some big deer down there. And the farmers we sprayed for, they were like, yeah, come get them, because they eat their crops or whatever. And to their to the deer's defense, the deer isn't really the one that's like destroying the corn. It's the raccoons. But the deer will eat quite a bit of soybeans. But when farmers see all the damage to their corn, it's mainly raccoons. But I'll let them think it's deer.
Fair enough. Let them think it's deer so you can go get them. Have you ever wanted to like go out west and like do the multiple day hunts where they're backpacking out there and hunting some different game?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, everybody wonders why. I just don't like killing animals, to tell you the truth.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I actually don't like it at all. But I like if I lived out there and I got to like see this elk every day and pattern him and figuring out what he's doing, where he's going. Yeah, I'd probably like it, but I don't have time to go out there and sit every day and, learn about this one animal and figure out what he does and who his girlfriend is and all that stuff. So I just don't have time for that.
You've got the whole family tree.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, I can kind of stay, and even Indiana and Illinois, like, I run cameras out in Indiana and Illinois all year long. I make a couple trips out there. So, I've gotten more familiar with the deer in those areas, and, so I pretty much know kind of what deer I'm going after every year.
You're not just going out, sitting in the stand and shooting the first thing that walks by with a rack.
No, not.
This is a
not even close.
well thought out, planned out.
He's a calculated, masterful hunter.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just don't have a lot of interest in killing stuff.
Gotcha. I mean, that's a great way to go about it, honestly. And it's really cool to hear you say it, because a lot of people, I think, have a misconstrued view of hunting. And obviously there's outliers in everything. You're going to have the poachers or the people who are doing it wrong. But then you got guys like yourself who are doing it the right way and like taking those extra steps to take it to the next level. And it's really cool to hear you talk about it. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because you're like, oh, we don't want to talk about hunting, but I do want to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't want your secrets, bro.
Yeah, I don't care about the secrets or anything. Like, I will never care about your racing secrets even. Like, that's a whole thing that, that's what, like, a racer, we build that craft, and we're not going to share it. But I love sitting down with my fellow racers and my friends and talking about all the races we've been through in the past and what the future looks like, and the nuances of the racing and the nuances of deer hunting is really cool.
Yeah, no, like I said, I love deer hunting, and it's definitely something that like gets my mind off of racing for sure. It's I've always told people this too. It's like not something that I want to make money doing, because it's relaxing. Anything that makes money is always stressful. Anything that makes money.
Yeah.
Like, I've yet to have anything that has brought me $1 that has not been stressful. Even though
True that.
and I don't let, if I don't kill a deer, like if I have a year where I don't kill a buck, or if somebody else kills it, it doesn't stress me out, because there's always another one. Like, there's always more big deer.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't ever let myself get like hyper fixated on one buck. I always try to have multiple deer. Like, so if somebody kills one of the deer, okay, I'll go to my backup. Or if that one deer leaves, or if I can't get permission or where he's going, some of these deer, I mean, they'll travel 10 miles. So you may have him now, but you may never see him again. So yeah, I always make sure I have backup deer.
Gotcha. Very interesting. Very interesting.
I've heard Scott say it before, and I want to ask you a similar question. Like, being a pro race car driver, you've done Pro 4. Scott said something like, the regular things don't bring, like, when you're in that environment where there's so much adrenaline, like driving 900 horsepower freaking truck, like, do you find regular things just don't bring you the same amount of joy? Like, does it take something extraordinary for you to get excited?
Probably, because I think a lot of people like just think I'm mean or like upset all the time, but it's just I just don't get excited about things. Yeah, very often. Like, I don't even remember. Well, I do remember what the last thing I was excited about, but I can't talk about it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And that's like the only thing that I can remember. Well, I've got 2 things this year that I'm excited about. This has probably been the most year I've had excited things. Like usually I don't even have anything exciting. This year I've had 2.
Mm,
That's so good to hear.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, 2. I got 2 exciting things, but I'm not talking about either.
Okay. Well, when we're off the podcast, I can't wait to hear about them.
No, you can't. You can't hear about that either.
Really?
No.
Oh, shoot.
Wow.
Will we ever? Will we ever?
Oh yeah, you'll hear about it. You just won't hear about
Like
it.
9 months from now?
Yeah, a little bit from now.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Very cool. Very cool. That's great to hear that you got something to light your spark again.
Yeah.
You know, that's there's things in life, and I have friends, very close friends, that just don't understand what it's like to, one, be in a race car. To your point, you know, what is it like being in that, and does it dull everything else for you? And it does. I think it does for sure. I've crossed this bridge many times in the past year, being around different people and bringing people into the racing style community and the off-road community. Is they're like, they just don't understand what it's like to be at that level, like the high level of going fast. And then I was able to hop in a race car. I was telling Scott this. I was able to hop in a race car with some people and be passenger with people who have never gone fast before, and watch them experience driving for the first time, kind of, sort of, and then giving them pointers and watching them get a little bit faster and kind of falling in love with the teaching part of it. And then the even more fun part for me is getting in the driver's seat with them after they've gone through the learning process and knowing how to drive and what the things, you know, what it's kind of capable of, and then actually showing them
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Because they're like, oh, there's no way you can go that faster in that section than we just did. I'm like, hop in, you know? And then afterwards, they're like, I'm like, do you see what I mean about how when I'm riding with you, they're like, were you scared? I'm like, not even close, you know, because I've been almost dead multiple times because of going too fast, or the stick coming through the car and jamming into the roof. Like, there's so many things that have happened in our lives doing racing or going fast or extreme sports, you know, doing backflips and all this crazy stuff, where it's just, you're numb to it. You're just numb to the extreme, and then it takes that next level to get you excited. So it's cool to hear that you're still getting excited after all these years.
Yeah, I have a few things for sure. Yeah, I mean, I get to go home from here and see my girlfriend. That excites me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Living in Ohio, and you get to go right home and see the girlfriend and then look at the deer camp.
Yep, every morning I get to see her, and she excites me every morning. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure you play this part first. Well, Kyle, I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you're a busy guy. You're getting ready to leave tomorrow. Where are you going tomorrow?
Reno, because we have Vegas to Reno, but it's actually Reno to Vegas.
Backwards.
Yeah.
You're excited?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun race. We got a good race car. I think it'll be good.
Who's racing with you?
Sadie Gray.
Interesting.
Yes, the girl that raced with me at Silver State.
Cool. How'd that come about? I think Cash has been in there with you the last couple.
He's been with me a few times, and you know, I guess I haven't had like a steady co-driver maybe ever
Since Scott.
Yeah, I mean, he raced with me. What was that? 3 years, but it was only at KOH.
Right.
You know, because most of the other races we didn't have co-drivers. So, you know, now doing more desert, like all the desert stuff, like I've just kind of had whoever's available. And I actually, Cash wasn't available because he was doing a short course race. So I called Hunter Miller because I knew he wasn't racing. So I asked if I could use his co-pilot, which his co-pilot is Jeremy Gray, Sadie's dad. But he was in Japan doing some work or something, so he couldn't race with me. But he's like, Sadie's available, and you know, she's really good, you know, from what they were all telling me. So I'm like, yeah, that's great. So got with her, and she is beyond good.
That's great.
Yeah, like she probably looked over the GPS file for 8 hours just in the morning before we took off. Like I think she went through the whole track.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then the night before she did put all her notes in, and yeah, she just takes it very serious. And yeah, she took it way more serious than I thought. Like a early 20s, maybe. I don't even know if she's that old. To tell you the truth, she may still be a teenager.
Wow.
Would take a race, and she was great in the car, great at navigation, like communicated great. Yeah, no, she was really thorough, and what I liked about her too, like she would even let me know, like, hey, you're probably not going fast enough. Yeah, yeah, like, hey, you backed it down or something. Like, I feel like we could go faster through this corner. She wouldn't say it that way, but she would like, this corner is a 6, which is like a light corner. And like if I had let off a little bit, she's like, no, you can stay on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's good to hear you got yourself a good co-dog, and good luck to you and her in the Reno to Vegas.
I can still call it Vegas Reno.
Yeah. Well, good luck this weekend. I'm really pumped to actually have you sit down for a longer period of time other than running in and out at King of the Hammers. You have done great things in the off-road industry. I have no doubt that you're going to keep it up, and good luck with your hunts. I'm excited to hear the big news, all the stuff that you got going on. Obviously, we can't chat about it, but I'm excited to see what it comes out. And Mr. Kyle Chaney, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, maybe next podcast, some of the big news will come to fruition.
Listen, I would love to be a part of that news.
Yeah, we could break
For real.
the news.
For real.
Help you break it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to break it. But
Oh, good.
No. I'm saying when it's time to release your big news.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to be the podcast that helps you tell the world.
well, I'll let the forces that be know that you're interested.
All right. I love it.
So cryptic.
I know. It's so cool. It's so cool. Stay tuned. Kyle Chaney, big news. But Kyle, thank you very much, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure, and go have some fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
All right.
See you guys later.